everyone, and welcome to day 3 of Expand Your Brand. I want to recap what we've gone over for the past 2 days and also give you some information on how to get in touch with me outside of this workshop. I hope that you have enjoyed this information. I hope that you will subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can get the replay of what we've done the past 2 days, and including today, as well as any other talks that I've done on YouTube, sharing information with you so that you can live life on your terms. I think that what people need more than anything is just encouragement. I would like to say permission, but you don't need permission from anyone else to live the life that you want to live, how you want to live it. You just need to feel supported, that you're not going to let someone else's thought of your life weigh you down, but you need a head start sometimes. We're brave in some areas and we're not so brave in other areas. So I just want to encourage people to be brave in all areas of their lives, even if you feel like you're trembling, um, you don't know what's going to happen next. You've heard it before. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Think of the last time you were afraid and the process you went through. And even if you were still afraid when you finished the task, you still have that experience. And maybe you will be less afraid the more chances you take on making yourself happy. Mm. So the first day, I brought up two things I wanted to cover with our 3 days together. And that was about using podcasting as a business or using it Bash video. We're not ready for that. Or using it as a creative way to market your business. I hinted to the reality that now is the time that you really could make podcasting a business. And have your pen and paper handy because you want to take these notes. Nothing that I am sharing with you being made difficult so you can't achieve it. It's being given to you in a transparent way so that you have an understanding of the platform of podcasting. If you have a background in media or communications or TV, any form of media, newspaper, TV, magazine, or even FM, AM radio, maybe even satellite radio. If you have any background in that area, then you already have a head start on being in the world of podcasting and making it a business. In fact, you have such a head start, you already understand the terminology and what people in the industry will be looking for because podcasting is making its own place in the world of media. It's going to have to adopt some of the old terms as it creates this new medium that anybody can use, right? So if you have journalism, like I said, communication or any kind of media background, whether you went to school for it or interned with it, you have a head start on the world of podcasting. But if you have no background in podcasting, getting yourself up to speed, educating yourself about the industry is what's going to be most important for you. And it's not about being in competition with people who already have a background. Just know that you will start at a different level than they will. And it's all okay because there's entry levels to everything. So knowing where you are is going to help you know how much time and effort it's going to take you to make podcasting your business. I'm not trying to make this difficult. I'm trying to make it realistic. So if you have no media background, it will take you longer to get the consistent feel of what's expected in the world of media. Um, and also determining what you want your style of media to be. Meaning, as you're completely new to media and what category you might fall in, you will be discovering that. How much time is it going to take you to discover If you are like a documentary kind of journalist, which means maybe you would use your podcast to talk about a conversation over a period of podcasts, like maybe 13 weeks, you talk about the same topic. Would you be that kind of podcaster? Do you know that about yourself now? Are you a current events kind of um, journalist? And without having the background, how do you determine that? So, how quickly could you read about a story or hear about a story and get the information out to people? If you have a quick turnaround, you may be more in line with being a current event um, journalist. So, in the world of podcasting, you may not spend 13 weeks on the same topic. You may have 13 different topics if you do a weekly podcast. So, finding your starting point and how much time you'll need to invest in your podcast business, that is going to be where you determine, okay, it usually takes me 12 months, so I'm going to still need to keep a form of income, stay on my job, or create another opportunity that is more instant when it comes to bringing in money. So maybe DoorDash or Lyft or a cleaning service, something that will pay you just as soon as you start it. But if you find that podcasting is going to take a little more educating for you, not because it's technical, but just because you want to make sure that when you approach someone in the podcast world or in the media world, that you understand the language. You like the idea of podcasting, but maybe you don't fully understand it. You see the potential, but you want to feel more confident in your knowledge of it. So it may take you 12 months to get that under your belt and to get some podcast trial runs going. So you have to determine for yourself, how will you measure where you need to start and what it's going to take for you to grow. And do you want this as a business in the sense that you are the only person on your platform and you bring in all the guests? Will you have that kind of podcast platform? And it's not impossible. You can do it that way, but it will be different than you creating a network that is around other people. But those are two ways to make. I put my fingers over here like you can see them. Those are two ways that you can make a business out of podcasting. People are looking for a platform. They're looking for someone who already has marketing knowledge, expertise, someone who can get the word out about what they're, talking about on their program. If you're easy at becoming popular, if it's easy for you to connect, if it's easy for you to get people to engage in content that you put out, then having a platform where you have multiple people share their content on your platform is a way to go with making podcasting a business as well. I'm going to talk some more about that. And I just wanted to give you an idea, because I don't like when somebody tells me they're going to tell me something and I have to wait a long time to get any idea. So I wanted to give you some idea. You may have not cared, but it bugs me. So I wanted to give you some idea that I'm not going to hold you down this rabbit hole only to get to the end to say podcasting, that doesn't make sense as a business. Okay. So we'll go back to that, but I want to give you just a little hint. 2 days ago, we talked about podcasting being used as a creative way to market your business. I told you about Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and one part in his book talks about, if there's no news about you, create the news. So he created his own newspaper, and that, I want to say, but his book and what he wrote about was from 1920. So that's like 100 years ago. That is 100 years ago. So how could something someone said 100 years ago apply today? Maybe we're going through a sort of depression, but the way they described the depression that they went through in the 20s and 30s, it just doesn't seem like it. We don't have limitation. We don't have the soup kitchen. We're not standing in line for rations in the same sense. Um, However, we do have some limits. And while he could create a newspaper, now we can do a podcast. We can do a podcast. We can do an online radio. We can do satellite radio, radio in your car. Like there are so many other mediums now that a newspaper would not be the only way you can get the word out about yourself. If no one's talking about you, look at all these ways that you can get the word out about yourself. And who better to talk about you than you? You're going to say great, amazing things about you, right? So we talked a bit about using it as a way to market. So if you own the podcast and you're saying, well, I have this book, I have this jewelry, I have this product or service that I want more people to hear about. And I'm online, whatever your service is, it's online. It's not in a building. You could have one in a building, but for this story, it's all online. So you're thinking, well, podcasting's online, podcasting is popular. I really don't want to add something else to my plate that's going to have me, bogged down with running behind and missing another deadline. I just don't want that burden. Well, I want to use podcasting so it can expand my visibility in the community, um, to showcase my expert knowledge, to let people see me and experience me, like, sampling. I always like to talk about the samples at Sam's Club or BJ's when we did go. And they would have the samples out and the person there, encouraging you to try this. And if you really love it, you can purchase a box of it, on this aisle. So, in a sense, I want to put our online presence in the same frame as a sample at Sam's Club. If you like what you see here, let's work together more. And this is how you do it, right? So, you could rent space on someone else's program, which is not a bad idea, but that's 60 seconds or less on someone else's platform to say something about you and how to get in touch with you. You want more time, you want more visibility. And when you sit down and look at the price of what it costs to get the amount of time you believe that you need, you can very easily run up a big tab, a big expense in your business. And here's the thing, there is no guarantee. There's no guarantee that advertising on someone else's platform is going to get you people to pay attention to your brand. And there's no guarantee that if you do a podcast, that people are going to just come knocking your door down, your virtual door down. There's no guarantee. But there's less risk with you having a podcast because you manage all the time. You're the product. Whatever you want to present to your potential client is all right here. I set up this 3-day workshop to spend anywhere between 90 minutes to 2 hours with you for 3 days. Even if you're listening to the replay, I'm leaving the experience intact for you because I've given you a gift. Now, this gift is making room for me by allowing me to be seen by people who would not normally cross my path. I tried some different things. I put the event up on LinkedIn. I created a group on Facebook, and I just began sharing information every Sunday. So there's a ripple effect. You just keep doing it, keep putting the information out there, keep showing up in different places, and it's still your podcast. And what's very exciting in this time is that a podcast is not just being on Anchor or Spotify or Blog Talk or any other audio platform. A podcast now is this video through StreamYard that will be on YouTube, and being on YouTube is a podcast. Being on your blog with a video, videoing with your phone and sharing it on Instagram. It's a podcast. There's so many opportunities, and you have already been doing podcasting before it was completely acceptable. They even call podcasting mobile media, podcasting with your phone. videoing with your phone and covering a topic, whether serious or funny, podcasting. So it's all here and it's a way to be in multiple places. And what we have noticed without having to go and spend money on a market research team, and I won't say spend, it's investing. If you have the money for a market research team, that does help you not have to learn it yourself. But again, if you don't have the background, um, you'll have to learn about it, because even if you hire an expert, you are still going to have to learn what it is that they do, so you understand the information they give back to you and how you can use it and understand it and guide your business from it. But in a very natural setting on your social media, you're noticing who's attracted to the content that you share. And what I mean by that is, if you write something, post a picture or a video, who's attracted to what you share? More than likely, they're going to really take to the videos. You're going to get more impressions or more views of a video. And the next one would be a picture. Some people still read, but they really like a visual. And that's helpful. And you control your marketing. What you can use podcasting to do is explore the topic you want to share with your audience, as well as the different things. And this is just talking about using podcasting to market yourself, to be a creative form of marketing, not as a business, but as a way to give you the opportunity to research marketing. Because if you've been in business, you've had to market some kind of way. Maybe you've been marketing with pictures and short videos already, podcasting, right? So now you want to take my advice and have a longer podcast where you're having a full conversation. Maybe you're having guests on, maybe you're showcasing products and sharing about services that you're using and giving your review. Maybe you're just showcasing your personality. Maybe you're spending time with the loved one in your private life, not a private moment, but we get to see the behind the scenes of you at home with your loved ones, is what I mean. Maybe. Maybe this is what you're deciding to do, but you're doing this where it doesn't take up a lot of time, but you're getting to learn a new form of marketing, which you would do in business anyway. In our businesses, we have to continue to educate ourselves. Some of our businesses do require us to have continuing education units. Some of our businesses do not, but we still benefit from continuing to educate ourselves. If I would have stopped paying attention to podcasting when I got into it, like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know how to do a podcast. I've looked around, I've done my due diligence for the beginning here, and I'm just going to go with it. And 12 years later, I may still be doing it right, but I'm not sure. And I haven't studied, I haven't looked into it. I've just been doing my podcast and nothing more. No more educating myself, not even mixing in old or even older methods, because technology moves so fast. So I wouldn't even be able to use the knowledge of an old technology mixed in with this new podcast technology, because I'm so in a funnel. But someone who comes up 12 years after me who doesn't have my start point could, very well do something with podcasting that I didn't see coming because I didn't continue to educate myself. To remain competitive in any industry, you must educate yourself. So if you're looking at podcasting as a way to creatively market your business, you want to, because there's nothing out right now that offers continue CEU. That's what the acronym is, but continuing educational credits or units. If right now podcasting doesn't require that you get upgrades in your learning, but it would benefit you to do it on your own, see what's out there, see what new platforms are out there. What are people doing that have started after you? I started doing my podcast 12 years ago, and so much has changed. It was literally audio only. And even though Free Conference Call was a audio only um, conference room, it wasn't qualified to be called a podcast until much later. So a podcast was once just audio. Now it's like having, on demand TV with you all the time, right? And I think that a mix of on demand programming for TV mixed in with on demand programming with online made room for this new media to be relevant. So even if you decide to do this as a hobby, you say, I don't want to add this to my business, but this would be something fun to do on the side, then you still would see how it's evolved. Podcasting is is so broad now. It was so narrow before, so broad now. So I think that with everyone finding interest in podcasting, whether for hobby or for marketing or for a network platform, it's gaining validity in the media community. It's having room for its own credentialing. I believe that's coming. But it also makes it like the effort that I put in was like, man, this was a long shot, but this is paying off, you know? I saw successes with it in the beginning because it was new and different and, just being brave enough to try this podcast thing. But then there was a space where it looked like podcasting may have gone away, only for it to come back and really be this bigger opportunity for so many people. So if you're thinking about new ways to market and you said in my business, I need to, get my education. Uh-oh, made up a word. Did I? um, education. I got to write that down. Even if you have credits or if you're just independently keeping yourself educated on your industry, maybe podcasting is something to invest your knowledge in for this year and in your marketing category, because in your business, you don't have to upgrade your knowledge all at once, all the same time. Is different times of the year that one part of your business will need more time and knowledge investment than another part. So like the first part of your year, you're looking more at financial education. If a tax law has changed, if something's been um, deleted, omitted, that was something you saw during tax season before, or is there a new opportunity with your taxes? Is your bank offering a new deal? Are you closing an account? Are you transferring any credit cards? You think more financial in the beginning of the year, but then you get to the second quarter of your business and you are thinking of the end of the year, what's going to be for the holiday season, but you also have what are we doing right now in the summer and the springtime, and how are people relaxing, and are they getting creative with vacations, because we're still in the COVID 19 era of being concerned because we're not 100% um, protected from it. People are still sick from it, and we've had so many people pass away from it. So, is this going to be a different kind of summer? So you're thinking of current events, you're thinking of things that hit home, maybe that's where you are. The third quarter, you're thinking about education, kids going back to school. So it changes, your content will change, and you decide what in your business needs this attention. Would you be the kind of boss in your business that would allow more sick days without penalty to your employees because of the way things are right now? What will you adjust in your business? What education do you need about healthcare? You know, that's also something that you would think about in your business. So the same education isn't educating yourself on all things doesn't happen at the same time. So marketing is something that you don't have to think about all the time in the planning phases. You design a strategy and then you work the strategy. So one part of the learning is, what do I need to know about using podcasting as a strategy? So you learn what you need to know about using it as a strategy, and the rest is executing that strategy. And it becomes a part of the everyday running of your business. So you now have a system in place that has made marketing this way normal, where it's not this heavy lifting all the time. The difference between using podcasting as a business and using it for marketing is that the heavy lifting is going to be more often, because when you have a network, you're constantly recruiting. But with your own podcast and your marketing, recruiting isn't necessary because you're not trying to grow it. You just want people to know that you're open for business online and this is how to connect with you. When you're using it as a business and creating a network, you're doing more than just saying, I'm here for business. I'm here for business, and this is a platform. Please come be on this platform. Let's do business together. Let's partner together. So you have many more working parts that are necessary. Your marketing is for many things. It's not just for, hey, I'm in business. It's for, hey, I'm in business. Here's an opportunity. Um, it's a platform for you. So now you, let's see, I tangle those words up. So once you let the person know there's an opportunity for them on your platform, they also are going to need to learn what you know about marketing and using podcasting. So now you're educating. I'm open for business. I have an opportunity for you. And here's my school of thought. Come enroll. So you've opened up several things for yourself. Using podcasting as a business also opens up your need to be a part of associations that would benefit your podcast. And you want to be a part of associations that you can learn and people know where you can learn, and people also understand what podcasting is. That used to be a larger concern just a few years ago, but now there is a podcast movement organization that has a conference, which I think is extremely cool. So any equipment that you might want to use, any techniques, any ideas that are in the podcast community, you're able to get exposure to them through the podcast movement. I'm not an affiliate of theirs. I'm not associated with them, but I'm going to be a podcaster. They offer a free newsletter. At the very least, being on that newsletter could benefit you. Finding what other techniques other podcasters are using, because podcasting is global now in a big way. I mean, before just being on the internet, you could say you were global, but this is a thing around the globe now. So finding out what someone is doing in a completely different country from you could be valuable. No one in your area is doing it, or you haven't seen it done in your area and you're looking for something different. Mixing ideas, gaining and sharing ideas is a good idea. Creating your own association is also great. Um, there are newsletters. I actually found, well, I didn't find, someone shared with me a list of journalist tools, but on that list, I found that they have a space for podcasting. And that may be why they shared it with me. But using the traditional journalist tools are good, you, but realizing that podcasting is now considered journalism is cool. The other thing is that there are tools that they recommend for podcasters. And also, I think that's the same newsletter I found, mobile journalism as part of a form of new media now. Let's see if I can find it. Journalisttoolbox.org. I'm going to post that. And if you're thinking about podcasting as a business, like, there's research that goes into staying in business anyway. So there it is. If you're looking at it as being a business, you're constantly looking for your edge and how to stay ahead of the other people that do what you do, like solidly do podcasting. Yes, there are people who do podcasting part time, and you're thinking, man, they do an amazing job, and I want to outdo them. That's not level. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And the reality is, unless they are a celebrity, if they do their show less frequently than you do, they do not have as many opportunities as you do to showcase an advertiser, a sponsor, to carry a conversation. Is not the same thing. And someone who does their show once a month or once a week, they are spending more time to make that one show great. So if you want to dial back how much you're putting out, you're not looking at it as being a business. Being a network or using podcasting as your main source of income, there's there's a business that has to be run. How do you make money? By being available so much that you have space for people who want to have you feature their product or service on your platform. And you have to have that momentum that people are wanting to follow. Okay? So you have to have a habit of putting out content that attracts attention. That's the business. The journalist toolbox.org is a great site for traditional journalism, as well as they have space on there for the new media, which is podcasting and videoing with your phone or gaming media on your phone. And even, let me add this, public access stations across the United States are accepting video submissions as acceptable submissions for TV programming now. So those are is so much that has changed, so much opportunity that is available to make a podcast. And thinking of the time that you have to invest will also help you know if you can do this as a business or does it need to be a marketing strategy. Yesterday, you talked with me and my husband, and to give you some behind the scenes of Coach Cat and what it's like. Like, am I the same person? Am I only nice with you and mean to him? Am I mean and strict across the board? Like, who is this person? And I was so amazed with um, just sharing those words I hadn't heard. I've seen it, but he just hadn't sat down and I said, "Why do you support me?" Because maybe I thought, "You're my husband, you have to support me whether you like it or not." But he said that he really believes in what I'm doing, and he's even tested me to see if I really believe it. And I guess I could have been upset or offended by that, but I wasn't. I was like, "Okay, well, I guess we now both know it works," because maybe in my head, I wondered if I put on meditation music or if I do these particular exercises, I'm already told in my head, I've already made myself know I'm supposed to have this particular outcome. So maybe I work real hard to have that outcome because I know that's supposed to be what I'm trying to do today. And so, him just being able to see that the way I practice my spiritual walk, the way I work with my clients, and the way I love on him, that it's a consistent energy and it's what it needs to be in the space it needs to be in. Like when I need to be romantic or want to be romantic with him, I can, and it's genuine. The energy is genuine, and he shared that with you also. That was cool. That was wonderful. I really that was an ego stroke yesterday that I needed. I needed to know that he wasn't doing it because he had to do it. I love that he supports and believes in what I'm doing and is allowing me the space to be me and allowing me to be, meaning he's not trying to disrupt it. He's not getting in the way of it. He wants me to be amazing. So he if it makes me great, if I like it, he loves it. So I'm all about that. And so the support I've poured out to other people, I now get to have it in my home, which is so cool. It's amazing. Outside of this 3-day recorded workshop, I want to be able to connect with you and help you grow in your business. Podcasting is one of many ways to expand your brand. And in a few weeks, I'll do another one of these using a different way to expand your brand. But in between this recording and the next one, I want you to be able to get in touch with me, follow and ask questions and see how we can deepen our relationship. I know that people do business with those that they like, they know and they trust, and I want to continue to give us the opportunity, me and you and I, the opportunity to know each other, to build a trust that you can understand is genuine. I want to see you do amazing things with your business. We have come to this earth to give the world something, and I want to see what it is that you have for this world. So, follow me on Facebook at Coach Cat, and I have my natural hair. So, once you see the hair, you know you are on the right page. And I host a talk each Wednesday on YouTube. So you're watching me, and the logos around the video say StreamYard, which is one of the tools I'm using, but you also are able to see me on YouTube. So you see me through StreamYard on YouTube. I want you to subscribe on the YouTube channel. StreamYard is just a tool, not a platform. YouTube is the platform, and I want you to like this, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, just one, and then set yourself a reminder so that next Wednesday, Coffee O'Clock with Coach Cat, we'll talk about something with the entrepreneur lifestyle. You can watch some of the past videos I've done. I evolved from the entrepreneur lifestyle being the overall topic to just Coffee O'Clock with Coach Cat, because over time we're going to talk about just different things, and I want to give it a different energy. So it's still the entrepreneur lifestyle, because working for yourself, part time or full time, is a commitment, and it is a lifestyle. You may work a full time job and do your business part time. That is a mix of the lifestyle you want to live. You may do your business full time and have a part time job, and that's a mix of what you want. And you decide what's the benefit. Why would I do my lifestyle this way? Why would I not just be 100% in corporate, 100% in my business? Why wouldn't I do that? Because it's not for you. Everyone wants to do. And I want you to be okay with how you choose to mix and match ways to earn income and experience this life. Being able to be genuine in your business comes with to be being genuine in your business comes from being able to be genuine in your personal life, being genuine with yourself, doing what makes you happy. I eat dessert first. I like to sleep in late. I like to stay up late. I like to be a night owl. I'm not sure if I can be considered a night owl when it's really, if I would have gotten up at 6 a.m., I would be ready for bed by about 7 or 8 p.m. So if you get up like 10 a.m. and you're not ready to go to bed until like 1 a.m., are you really a night owl? I don't know. I just set myself up to still get the same amount of time in, right? Sleep and being up. Um, I like movies that make me laugh and make me cry, that move my emotions. I like documentaries. I have friends that I did not know enjoyed country music. I like country music, but we've never shared that. But like they really are into it. Like I am a Prince fan. They're not that into Prince. I am. So their love of country music, I can learn from it because I have a little interest, but I didn't know they had it. And you don't know everything about what makes your friend who they are until maybe you play a game and find out something odd about them. So mix your personality into your business. Surprise the people that are going to tune into what you're doing in your business. And it doesn't matter if you're part time, full time, half time, and you're mixing textures of life. No one can say you need to be full-time entrepreneur or full-time employee in order for you to be doing this the right way, okay? I seek to help people see their freedom in their choice of how they gain the kind of life that they want. Maybe you still have a job because you like the structure, you like the community of people that you see every day, maybe the benefits. And I don't care why you chose that. It's up to you. It's what makes your life yummy. You do what makes your life worth living. Maybe you like paid time off. Yes, working in your business, you save up money, you can have paid time off. But maybe you really enjoy other people's money. Hey, honey. My husband has joined us. Hey there. Okay. So, as I'm asking you to decide about using podcasting as a business or as a way to creatively market your business, he just distracted me. I love him so much. He distracts me. Oh man, you're distracting me. I need to be on the right screen, buddy. All right. Okay. Back on task. Focus, focus. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. We're live. Okay. So, as I'm asking you to choose or to think about using podcasting as a creative way to market your business or as a business platform itself, there are things to consider. What do you love about your life right now? And by adding podcasting, what will it change? What would need to change? Would you want to make those changes? So, yesterday you got to see the behind the scenes. So if you are married, you're dating seriously, you have friendships, you have real close bonds with your siblings and your parents, your extended family, those people are important to you. And you may want to consider learning something new may take you away from the time that you've been spending with your loved ones. And is that something you want to do? If it is something you wanna do and you think your family would understand it, then I say let's jump in with both feet. I'm looking forward to working with you. But if you need more time to think about it, I gave you one way to stay in touch with me, Facebook, Coach Cat, and then there's Instagram, Miss T and TBS. I am getting into the reels on Instagram. If you have not started using the reels, man, this is an awesome way to use your podcast, especially videos. So if you join me on Instagram, you will see bits and pieces of this workshop and other talks I've done on video because it's podcasting and it's an amazing way to get people interested in you. There are some comedians that my husband and I follow on Instagram because we've seen them so much on Instagram. It's just they put so much content out and we like funny content and they deliver it consistently. And so we see it. So if you're thinking about podcasting as a creative way to market, Instagram is an awesome way to get that done. You just got on here to distract me. Yes, you did. Oh, he's trouble. I am hoping to bring on one of my past clients and one of my friends to talk with you about her business and what it's like to work with me as your coach. And, the word association with coach, maybe that holds some of us back from getting the support and help we need in business. So I'm looking forward to her joining us in just a little bit. These past 2 days, well, 3 days as of today, they've been amazing. Just getting ready for it and thinking about, what information I'm gonna share with you all. I'm very confident that I am going to hear from you all, and we're gonna be connected, like, forever because doing something brand new is scary, and having someone who knows what it's like, and you know that they're not going to change your mind. Like, you may have this way out idea about podcasting. I do not care. If you believe that you want to do it, I want to see you make it happen. And if you change your mind a lot, that's even more stuff to try out. I am someone who changes their mind so much, and I look for creative ways to try old favorite things. So let's explore. I encourage you to look around at other people's podcast workshops, see what other content is out there. I don't think I have all the answers. I don't think I should be your only resource. You want to be well known in the community so that people know you're someone who helps, someone who is supportive, someone who's genuine. So when it's time to have a guest on your show or feature a product, that they think of you. A lady just during this workshop, the day before this workshop, actually, I sent her a card. My head is itching today. I sent her a card just to tell her thank you for being a friend after so many years on social media, because I've met so many people and I feel like I've built so many connections that are real with people. And so when I don't see them on social media, I miss them, and it's a big deal. Like, show back up. What are you doing? What are you up to? And as I reconnected with her, she let me know she had an online play that she had written, and she would be happy if I would be part of her audience to, give her some feedback. And I was like, absolutely. And I shared it with some friends, and it's just a ripple effect. She really appreciated the card I sent her. And then she says, someone wants to know about podcasting, and guess who I thought about? And I said, well, I'm getting ready to do a workshop. They're welcome to be a part of it. And she says, well, I think this person wants a one-on-one consultation. They're pretty sure they want to do a podcast. And I sent her my appointment link. And it happens that people do recommend you to people and they don't follow up. And it happens. But I thought it was golden that she recommended me. And she let me know she recommended me. Even if I never heard from the person, I would have been and still am so grateful that this person thought of me. So they recommended someone. The person booked time to talk with me. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm thinking it was just an extension of thoughtfulness, of keeping my network warm and letting them know that I see them and I celebrate them, that they came to return the favor, to be thoughtful to me, to see if they can help me. So I thought, man, that is way cool. So when the person did book a time with me, I let my friend know. Yes, be noticeable and approachable. Yeah, you got to be. Because if you're not available, we don't see you. It's like you're not there. You've already made yourself invisible. Absolutely. So today we're going to finish up our 3 days together, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Facebook at Coach Cat or at my group, Expand Your Brand. And this group is strictly about using podcasting to expand your brand. And I did mention I will do a workshop again in a few weeks, and it's going to be a different topic on expanding your brand. So I had a marketing series that I did. So I haven't decided which topic to tackle yet, but it's going to be something else in the world of marketing. Isn't that broad? But expanding your brand is a form of marketing. It's a way to let people know, hey, I'm here and I'm open for business. Because marketing isn't just one thing, it's a couple things. So join us if you're interested in podcasting. I do a Sunday morning chat in that group. So join that private group, and you can learn about podcasting at a slower pace, at your own pace. It's not a hurry, but the information is available for you there. So join that. It's a free group, and still more time for us to build a relationship together. It does. It does. Honey, you remember the card that Dwayne did? That the card we sent Dwayne and his wife? I have that video. I actually might share that in right before we have our guests come on today. Thoughtfulness does go a very long way. And I've seen so many wonderful things come out of me being thoughtful to other people, things I didn't think about. A couple videos have been created because I made their day. I sent them a card thinking of them, had nothing to do with me. It was just, hey, I hope you're having an amazing day. And, here I am cheering you on, get better, keep giving the world the best of you, whatever, good information we can share with people. We've done that. And it has, come back to us. And it's been amazing. And it makes me want to be even more thoughtful. Okay, I will show it. I definitely will show it. So in just a moment, we will do that. I'll share the video of the card that we sent to a couple who had been exposed to COVID-19 and they were waiting to get the results of their test to make sure that they were clear of COVID, and we were hoping that they got better and praying with them. And we were able to send them a card letting them know we hope that they feel better soon. And so that was a good moment. So I will share that. All right. All righty. Okay. And making sure there were no comments that I was missing for day 3. This is going to be available after we're done doing this live. So you can go back and look at this over and over, share it with people, ask any questions. I know for me, I often have questions after I've experienced something. And I don't have the questions in that moment, but later on I'm going, but explain that more to me, or you didn't finish this part, or I have a question now. And so there's no expiration date. Let's definitely connect, like leave a comment under the video after you watch the replay, or after, this session is over and something comes up, leave a question, because I come back and check the videos. Plus, I get the notifications to my email, so I won't miss you. There won't be a long delay. You won't be out lost in internet space and not paid attention to. All right. Let's go ahead and share. Let's share Dwayne's video.
Mr. and Mrs. Jones, man, I just got y'all card. Man, that is so awesome, man. I'm so glad y'all found each other. I did not know that y'all dated back in the day. I saw the picture y'all posted. I did not know y'all dated back in the day. But this is awesome, man. Yeah, we feeling a lot better. We took tests and we just waiting on our results to come back. Hopefully it's over with. But man, I just appreciate that was some real stuff. I see this on the back. If y'all have some kind of business that y'all doing with these, please send me the information. But this is awesome. I never seen anything like this. I appreciate it. We both appreciate it. I just got it out the mail. But man, I love y'all, man. I appreciate it. Man, I wish y'all a long, prosperous, blessed marriage. Man, this is really nice, man. I really appreciate this, and y'all keep doing what you're doing from the heart, man. Y'all some great people, I can tell from y'all social media, and hopefully when this thing over with, we can do some double dating, jazz fest, go to some not no cowboy games, but some Steeler games. No, I'm just kidding. But man, y'all have a blessed day, and we really appreciate this. And I don't know if y'all got a business going with these, let me know so I can support it. But I really appreciate it. It's great. Y'all have a blessed day.
Hello, Facebook fam. I wanted to come on and share this beautiful card that I received in the mail from Catherine Jones of This Needs to Be Said Media. This really made my day. She truly caught the essence of who I am with the pictures she selected and she chose to include in my card. And then she sent me this beautiful note celebrating me and who I am and the things I have accomplished. Thanks, Catherine, for my beautiful card. It is truly, truly appreciated. Thanks for making my day. Thank you. Bye.
I am super excited because I see who's in my green room, who's in my backstage. I just that was perfect timing right there. Listen, okay. So my energy is about to go up because I love this lady so much. We have so many experiences and definitely years into this, and I love her so much. So um I can't even introduce her right. My husband on here distracting me. And so the support that I've received this week, and for this to be day 3, that's gonna put tears in my eyes. I don't even have a tissue. Like, people come to see you be amazing. And what I'm showing you all is the result of me using podcasting as a business. But we're going to put a pin in that because I've talked about either using it as a business or a creative way to market your business. But I want you to talk with someone else. Then we're going to talk with Paula G. Voice about her business and how she inspires. And I actually watched one of her shorts today that I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to bring up because her hair lock journey has a lot of parallels to being in business and the stamina, the persistence you need to stick to something. And I was like, man, like she's teaching a coaching class right there. So maybe that was her intent. But I'm not gonna hold her back in the green room much longer. I want her out here with me. Hey, Paula.
Greetings. How are you, my sister?
There we go. You like that view or you like that view?
Oh, I'm good either way.
All right. Well, here we
There
go.
you
We're gonna
go.
start
That'll
with
work.
this.
That'll work.
Go ahead.
How are you?
I am fantastic. I am so much better now because I'm
Oh,
really gonna kick this day off. Not that I didn't think you were coming, but it's like when you see someone, you wanted to see them, and now I'm seeing you. So because I
wonderful,
talk to you on
wonderful.
the phone, but looking at your face is different, you know?
Yes,
I
yes,
get to
that is
see
true.
you. So welcome to my 3-day workshop of Expand Your Brand, and I'm talking about podcasting this go
hmm
round.
hmm
And yes, I want people to hire me as their coach, and I want them to fall in love with podcasting as I have and all of that good stuff. But I also want them to talk with other people who have used podcasting. And so you are that person for us today. Talk with us about how you've used podcasting, and is it your business or is it part of your business?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Our world has changed so much lately, and we're having to navigate these, different tools that we are using, um, on this platform. Part of my business. It's part of my business that I've used as a platform to market my business, to highlight others who are on a journey of fulfilling their passion or their business goals that they have. And it's really has been a great opportunity. It really has been a great tool. And as you know, our very own Clark Garrison is the one that actually got me started in podcasting, and you yourself, because I believe I met both of you around the same time. Is that right? Did I meet both of you around the same time?
It was fairly close, but
Yeah,
because we met in a group online because we were creating our own support group. So it was
yeah.
pretty close. It was pretty
Hmm.
close.
Yeah. So for me, I've used it as a platform for to promote my business. I'm a voiceover artist. I am an author. I'm a radio and television host. And as I tell my audience, you know, it's never too late. George Eliot said, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." So I'm walking in my might have been and encouraging others to do the same. So podcasting has been a great platform for me to promote my own business, for me to, and one of the businesses being voiceover. So having the opportunity to do my own commercials, my Paula's perspective, you know, while
Absolutely.
interviewing guests, but
Mhm.
also, you know, showcasing my voiceover skills as well. So I agree with you. It really is a great platform if used strategically, in a proper manner. And there's a lot that goes with being a successful podcaster that I'm sure you're sharing with the audience as well.
Yes, but don't take I told them also, don't just take my word for it because we all have
Hmm.
different ways, and I think that the fear of mixing ideas keeps us
Yeah.
from growing. I talked about, if I would have only limited myself to what
Hmm.
podcasting was 12 years ago, which was audio only, like what we're doing
Yes.
right now counts as a podcast. So, if
Exactly.
I would have sat back and just did audio only and
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna be, you know, podcast, I'm gonna be the original podcasters, which there
Hmm.
is a group out there who
Yes.
don't count us as podcasting right now because they're gonna stay true. But if I
Yes.
stay stuck, they're gonna be opportunities
Yeah.
that's gonna bypass me because I didn't want to
Right.
upgrade or I didn't want to mix it or be accepting of it.
Hmm.
So
And that's a good, and that's a real good point, because one thing that we have to remember is that as each industry grows, we also need to grow with it, because you're right. I remember when we first started, it was just audio. And now
mhm,
we have audio as well as the visual. And you know, everyone loves the visual, especially now in the season
yes,
that we're in. We need, you know, we can't
yes,
touch each other. So we need to see each other, and we have to be able to be open to you know, these new platforms, and not be
yeah,
afraid of the platforms. You know, if we're really being honest and having an honest
mhm,
conversation, you know, I think part of it may be, you know, for some, the hesitation or the fear of, oh, I don't know how to use that, or I'm having
mhm,
challenges with that. You know, all of
yeah,
that comes along with it. You know, all of that comes along with it. When we first started doing my television show remotely, we had to work out some kinks, and that's part of it. You know, we had to. I was
yeah,
talking to a guest, or the guest was talking to me, and it would, you know, look like one of those old movies where the audio is moving faster than your mouth.
mhm,
You know, so all of that comes along. All of that comes along with it, and as anything, any journey that you're on, any project that you're embarking on, anything that's new, you know, you have to work through all of those, you know, those things. And so, you know, if you're thinking about doing a podcast and you're struggling with, how do I put it together, or struggling with the technology, or struggling with, you know, I'm stumbling over my words all the time, or struggling with, I always say or whatever, all of that's part of it. All of that is part of it. You know, so
mhm,
you're in company. You're in good company, because we all have been through it. Don't let those things hinder you. And you know, the newness, the technology, you just have to continue to change and continue to flow with it, because you know, society is moving on, and people are looking at these new platforms. Oh, you know, before I could just listen to you know, Coach Cat, now I can see her. So
mhm,
they're going to move. So if you're not moving with them, you know, you may in fact lose some of the audience as technology grows,
yeah,
and you know, there are more bells and whistles and things that we can utilize, um, you know, for our podcast. I just said utilize for our podcast, you're going to be left in the dust. So you got to keep moving forward and persevering, and just know that all of the trials and the kinks and the frustrations and all of that thing is part of the journey. I love what I think I saw one you posted, Catherine, where you were trying to broadcast and you were having some technical issues, but you just stayed there and worked with it. And I thought that was wonderful because it helps the audience to see this is all a part of the journey. It's
Yes.
all a part of the journey to get to the point where you are perfecting what it is that you're doing. And we're all in a season of having to make a shift, to make
Hmm.
that shift because of what is happening, worldwide. And we can see it across the media industry. I remember, a few months back, well, almost a year ago now. Gosh, it's been a year. Looking at some of the shows that I've watched, The
Oh,
View
okay.
or the Kelly Clarkson's show and so forth, and just seeing them also having to make the transition to this type
Yeah.
of format and this type of platform. And
Yeah.
I think one of the hosts said, I'm used to going in the studio and I got a makeup person here and somebody puts my mic, gives me my mic, and somebody gives me the script and I just go. And now I got
Yeah.
to set up my camera and what's the ring light and how to, they have to do all of these things, that they're not
Not normally
accustomed
doing. Yeah.
normally doing. So,
Yeah.
I just want to share that and be transparent with that for those who, may want to embark on this or any business or anything that you embark on. There are growing pains, and it's not always a smooth journey. What you're seeing,
Hmm.
you're watching us now, the audience is watching us now. This is 10% of it. You're watching like, oh, that's cool. They're on a podcast, they're having a
Yeah.
conversation. They have businesses, ooh, ah. The 90% of it is behind the scenes, the business side of it, the technology side of it, having to look things up and figure out how to put this together and
Hmm.
post it and this, that, and the other thing, plus running your business, plus the day-to-day life. So, we're we're
Yeah.
we're real people, but we're persevering through those things to
Yeah.
get where we are today to have this conversation. Did I answer your question?
Well, I mean, well, I don't know if I had a question, but you were definitely adding to it, and I'm agreeing with what you're saying. So if I had a
Yeah.
question, it was answered. What I'm thinking about, my question for today, Paula,
Mm,
as I'm thinking of the meaning of life, how
uh-huh.
long do you think it takes you to trust a person?
Oh, wow. How long does it take for you to trust a person?
Yeah, you just met them, you didn't grow up with them, you don't have any
Uh-huh.
history.
Uh-huh.
Because see, I think I,
I,
I get mixed up because if I knew someone from childhood,
uh-huh.
I don't think of how long it took me to trust them, but it's like the new person
Uh-huh.
I have no history with. Like how do you do that? They got 3 weeks,
I
a
think
year?
one, trust. I
Say it
think
again.
one is it's earned. Two, it's
Yeah.
earned. Trust is
Okay.
earned. Yeah. But two, for me is when, because I pray about everything, and I'm not, trying to push anything on anybody, but I pray about everything. Two things I always pray for every day is wisdom and discernment. Lord, give me the discernment to see the truth in whatever it is that's in front of me, and the wisdom to know what to do with it. And for me, it's that whole, the peace that surpasses all understanding. When I feel that peace, for me, I can't answer it, it's 3 months, 6 months, because to me it's not a time frame.
Mhm.
It's that just that gut feeling, that inner peace that tells me that I can
Uh-oh. Are you
Trust that
frozen?
person.
Am I
Now,
frozen too?
trust that person. That trust can change because you can know someone, it doesn't matter how long you know them, they can earn your trust. You can have that peace where
Mm-hmm.
you feel as though you can trust them. That could change that and thus put them in another category. So trust is the season may be forever. So trust, and throughout life, they could trust the person. Person can do something that can betray your trust. And then, depending
Mm-hmm.
on the relationship, you may wind up going back to square one because it takes a while to earn trust and seconds to lose it. Seconds to
That
lose
is
it.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my big question for today. So we didn't get to have our weekly talk. So I had to squeeze something in. I was gonna ask
That's
you
all
that
right.
today.
I hope I answered it.
Well, I don't know the right answer. I wanted to know somebody else's
Yeah,
perspective because I'm like,
yeah,
sometimes it's like you just give trust away and then this person loses your trust, but they didn't even
right.
really know how to keep the trust. So when you said it's
Well,
earned, I
yeah,
said, okay,
that,
that would make more sense. You
yeah,
would.
yeah, yeah. I don't give anything away. I don't. When it comes to trust, no, no, ma'am. We don't
She
give.
said
No,
no.
got to earn that. Got to
You got to learn
definitely.
trust the old-fashioned way. You earn it.
Yes, you got to earn that thing.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yes.
So when you and I met,
Hmm.
I guess share with us a little bit. We'll share with the audience because I know.
Hmm.
But before we got onto podcasting, where were you at? What transition were you at
Oh
in your
gosh,
life before
it,
trans
it
before?
it was a multitude. I was in education at the time, and when you and I met, oh gosh, 6, 7 years ago, I was working as a high school counselor. I had gone back to school and earned my master's degree. I had gone back to school around the age of 45, and the reason I had gone back is because I found myself divorced around the age of 45 after 23 years of marriage. My former husband was in the military, so I found myself single and civilian at the same time. And for those in the audience who have any military background, those individually are challenging. They're life changing, but having them together at the same time, finding yourself being single after 23 years and now civilian, living in a
Oh yeah.
regular community, if you will, as opposed to on military bases throughout the world and so forth. It's a different lifestyle. So it was like the rug had been pulled out from under me. So at the time we met, I was still attempting to find my voice. And that's why I go by Paula G. Voice. I was still attempting to find my voice because I remember at the time where I was just in a season where, I needed to talk to someone and I needed help. And I was speaking with a counselor, which I strongly encourage for anyone. There is no shame in it, y'all. We all have
Not at all.
things go that conversation that's going on in our head sometimes is drowned out by the echoes of our past. And sometimes those echoes of our past really um, you know, dictate the direction that we're going in. And CJ Jones, I hear you. It really dictates the direction that we're going in. And sometimes we have to sit down, and that's kind of what my course is about. Sometimes we have to sit down and really speak to those echoes to find out why they are still there, and to kind of go through the process of dealing with them so that we can move forward. So I was in that space, and I remember the counselor asked me, "Who is Paula?" And I said, "Well, I was a military spouse for 23 years, and my husband was a field grade officer, and, I'm gone and on." And she listened politely. And then she said, "Okay, and who is Paula?" "Well, I have two children, and they're this age and that age." By the time she asked me the third time, I broke out into tears because I
Oh,
realized I really couldn't answer the question, who am
mm,
I? you know,
mm.
who am I? So when you and I met, I was at that point of discovering, realizing that I'm at the threshold of discovery, as a the piece that I wrote a while back. I'm at this threshold of discovery, and that I need to begin to discover who it is that I am, the gifts that I have that I can use to move forward, so I can live a peaceful, joyful life. There was nothing wrong with my life before. I appreciated, and I was honored to be a military spouse for over 2 decades. I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I always say being a military spouse separates the women from the girls, because if you can handle being a military spouse, deployments and TDYs and PCSs and all of these different things that come along with it. Like with anything, there's pros and cons. The pros, you get to live around the world. Who doesn't want to live around the world? But the cons are, you live with that um, you coexist with the daily knowledge that when your spouse walks out the door, when they are deployed, that may be the last time you see them. So
Mm,
all of these things were going on. So when we met, I was at a point of transition, and I had to begin to figure out who I was, what it is that I wanted to do, and how I was to go about doing it. Because I had never launched out in this particular field before. So
mhm,
your coaching, you were very helpful with that, in helping me to identify, these are the things that, and Clark too, it kind of simultaneously, because you both were at the same time. Clark and helping with me with the podcasting, but you as far as business coaching and helping me to formulate a business that I didn't realize I could formulate. That could be your business. You have a voice. I said, yeah, everybody always said I have a nice voice, and I never thought about this and I haven't thought about that. Well, you can make a business out of it. I can. How do you do that? You created the question of, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And
mhm,
then just began to share with me ideas on how I can make those things manifest. And it was also, you helping me to realize, as I was doing my podcast, because initially I was just having guests on, and I was playing music, and that was it. And when I started writing my book, and I started talking about voiceover, and you're like, oh, I'm listening to your podcast, and I don't hear you doing any voiceovers in your podcast, or talking about your book, or any of those. I'm like, oh, okay, because I was talking about promoting those things, and Catherine's
mhm.
looking at me like, why are you going somewhere else to promote? And you got a podcast, like, duh. Oh, okay. So just really helping a person like me, who does not have a background in any of this. My background was in fitness, it was in education. Like I said, it was being a military spouse. So stepping out into this creative side of me was not anything that I had tapped into, because my life was in this box,
Mhm.
based on those professions and those areas that I was in before. So you really helped me to think outside the box, and think outside the box strategically, as well. The course that I actually have now
Mhm.
really was a result of your coaching. The Mindset
That's
Journey course, that
fantastic.
5-week course, it really was a result of your coaching. And at the time, and I'll share with this with the audience, sometimes, you have to step out on things, and you have to trust, the person that you're working with, if it's a business coach or whoever, because sometimes they can see beyond that moment that you can't see. And I remember putting that course together, and I remember, doing the audios and some of the videos, and I'm like, I don't really know why I'm doing this, because I couldn't imagine at that point teaching, a course, because at that time I was burned out. I was tired of education, and um, at that point I was just spent.
Mhm.
When it comes to education, I was just spent. I was just tired and I was burned out. So I'm like, we put that course together. And when we did it, how to put it with everything, because I was still working full time my podcast. So it was just a time management thing. Here I am almost what, 5, 6 years later, and kind of resurrecting some things that I had put on the back burner because I was
Mhm.
still working full time and I'm now sort of retired. And I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And I'm like, that course. Yes. So that, I thank you so very much for your vision and your expertise. And you are incredibly gifted and talented when it comes to business coaching, but no nonsense as well, which I so love and I so appreciate. Keeping me on keeping me on track, keeping me accountable. And I for one, appreciate that. So if you're looking for someone to get it done, no nonsense, this is the lady right here.
Don't scare them off. Don't scare them off. That is
Well, I'm a
funny.
witness. Hey, I'm a witness to. I'm a living witness
I
to
want to add a bonus to what
Mhm,
you were talking about with the course because it
mhm,
was last year when COVID shut us down. You got to go in the
mhm,
house. I don't care what you think you got going on. People were trying to, make their job essential so they can go
mhm,
outside. All this. I was like,
mhm,
oh, stay in the house. I'm with it.
mhm,
So last year, I looked on the IRS.gov site.
uh-huh,
And I know that you can do your own EIN number on that site.
yes,
So I was like, well, let me think of some business names that I want to use.
mhm,
Now, yes, there are some other steps for you to take and put in place, but to get an EIN number, it's free.
yes,
So I did several of these. And my idea, and anybody can use this idea, it doesn't take from me, and I'm going to give you
mhm,
explicit instructions. Like you put that course together 5 or 6 years ago. Guess what you don't have to do now? Put that course together now. You may
right,
tweak it, but if
mhm,
you
mhm.
revamp it, it's because you got, the perfectionism bug. But other than that,
I
you
do. She
that
said that,
course
y'all, because I
and
do.
but you can take that course as is and
Yes,
roll it out. But
yes,
now the thing is you're relaxed, there's no pressure, there's no
mhm,
deadline to meet because this thing is done, right?
mhm,
So if you have a business concept that you can put in theory on paper from virtually opening your door to closing it, I think that a 5 or 6 year period will go by and it will
mhm,
have marinated and you will have money in the bank. And you can do this with anything. And businesses have a basic framework. They have
yes,
a beginning, they have a middle, and they have
middle
an
and at the
end.
end.
If
Yes,
you open this business, how do you want to close this business?
mhm,
What do you want for this business? And I know that first time you got this all these ideas and I want a bajillion things to work right with this first baby of a
mhm,
business. But when you realize that an EIN number is free, which
mhm,
that aligns your thoughts with okay, with this business is this, you'll have and oh, let me add this. You can get a new free EIN number once per day, Monday through Thursday. So you
okay,
roughly can have a couple hundred EIN numbers in 1 year. Now, Catherine,
mhm,
why would I do that? Because we'll forget and you'll misplace that EIN number and it's not traceable. And it also gives you a starting point and it's free. It's something you can do
mhm,
as soon as you get off this workshop.
yes,
And you
yes,
say, I want to do, let's say a cleaning business. I had a cleaning business as one of my businesses. And to tell you, cleaning up somebody's house is the most instant money you can make. You can work today, get paid today on your own
mhm, mhm,
face, you know?
mhm,
So you say, "Well, I would like a cleaning business, but I wanna have people under me." Write it on paper, research it, put it in that folder. Because when it's time to make that baby come to life, you don't have to do all the research.
mhm,
What I found over the course of my life is when something was hot, like podcasting, I
mhm,
would have waited for podcasting to have proven itself before I jumped on the bandwagon.
mhm,
But I got into podcasting and made it a business before people were wanting it to be labeled as viable enough to be a business. I took a chance and it's really paying off for me.
mhm,
What I have now is 12 years in the making, and I can do this with my eyes closed. I'm gonna tell you something so remarkable, just to toot my own horn. I had one person register for my coffee talk on Wednesday. So I was like, I'm gonna have to do that. One person is registered, I'm gonna
mhm,
go. And so I did my talk and I forgot what I was going to say last week, but I knew I was going to do this topic, right? Or I'm going to talk.
Mhm.
Well, I get there and do my YouTube video and I start talking about putting your personality in your business. And I go back later because I was like, I'm going to have to update that description because I totally didn't follow the rules. Guess what the topic was?
Mm.
About your personalities. I didn't have to change
Right.
anything because it's in me. I live not I don't just live podcasting, but I
Mhm.
live big ideas. And there was one time I couldn't get somebody to pay me to brainstorm with them.
Mhm.
Now they're like, can I buy you lunch? How much does it cost? And I didn't think I'd see that day.
Mhm.
I have the first flyer I made asking someone, let me brainstorm with you. And they was like, yeah, and you're doing that podcasting thing too. No, nut, no. So they were not bothered with me.
Mhm.
Now, now 12 years later, they want to hear from me. Well, what if I would have waited till just now to be
Mhm.
the expert? Well, I would be running neck and neck with the other new people that's the expert in this
Mhm.
area. But I'm not an expert in podcasting. I'm an expert in big ideas. I'm an expert in
Mhm.
helping other people, and I'm an expert in being a careful teacher, meaning I can teach you the way you learn. Now, podcasting just happened to be the cherry on top, and that's what's hot right now.
Mhm.
You know? So that was exciting to me that I know this stuff so inside and out that even if I thought I wasn't gonna do the coffee talk, but then somebody, registered, oh, I gotta think of something real quick, and I wanted to talk about that thing so much. And the description was already there, and I was like, "Wow, okay." And it wasn't with the script, it was like, I have to do something. Somebody registered, and I meant to take that date down, and I didn't. So now I gotta make good on it, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it still ended up I landed on my feet because this is what I've been doing. I'm not just learning it. So that's the
Yeah.
benefit of putting the business concept together before it's ready.
And also,
Mhm.
if I could add to that, the benefit of persistence, because it's all about the season. You, like you said, you've been doing this for 12 years. So when we met, you were well versed when we met, and you shared a lot of great information with me as well. And I think what we, and like you mentioned earlier at the top of the show, that my journey with my business and podcasting is similar to my journey of having these locks that I've had almost around the same amount of time, where there was a season where I was discouraged because my hair wasn't locking like I wanted to lock, and it looked a hot mess. And if I had just responded and reacted to that season, I wouldn't be where I am today with, they're almost down to my waist.
Mhm.
Seeing beyond,
Gorgeous.
yeah, thank you. Seeing beyond the moment and
Mhm.
keeping my eye on the goal and remembering that it's a journey. It's not easy, and it's like weight loss.
Yes.
We've got to stick with it. So the fact that you've stuck with it, you have 12 years of shows, 12 years of content, 12 years of experience, and
Mm.
maybe some of those years you felt like nobody was
Man,
listening, or
yes.
didn't give a flip, or Carol who, oh, I'm sorry, Catherine, Kate who, you know
Right?
and now, those same people are beating, some of those same people are beating down your door. Sometimes it is all about the season. It may not
Mm.
happen right away, but, like you said, encouraging people, don't get discouraged, to stay the course.
Yeah.
And like you said, with speaking of the course, like you said, I have that foundation of which I can build
Yes.
other courses,
Yes.
on. I've put the book out, which I can write the other books. Like you said, the pressure is not there,
Right.
at the at the moment. So,
Yeah, because we have that and we were talking about it last night, my husband and I. Isn't
mhm.
that nice? I got a husband.
It
Uh,
is. Congratulations. By the way, I know it's
thank
been a
you.
minute, but congratulations to both of
Yes,
you. And
thank
I
you.
pray just years and years of joy and union. And we know it's we got to navigate it, but we navigate it
Yes,
together. We navigate it together. Um,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
we get
So
through it.
we were
Yeah.
we were talking about the young people and
Hmm.
how they want things to come right now. And I said, well, I can't just put that on the young people now. I said, there's people around our age and even our
Hmm.
parents' age that
Hmm.
I could tell you all the get rich quick schemes my parents had, and it wasn't like, we're going to jail schemes, but they always had some shortcut. So
Right.
watching like a sitcom on TV where, Fred and Lamont
Uh-huh.
gonna do this thing and they're gonna turn it into gold and they're gonna be rich, this is gonna be the one, son.
Yeah.
Like all those thoughts, they are there. You do want to be discovered singing in the subway and make $1 million.
Uh-huh.
But how many subway rides did you take singing, to get that to
Mhm.
happen? We
Mhm.
only talk about the one time that you're discovered. And
Yeah.
we want to be discovered. It feels good for somebody to discover you, to say, I heard about you. All that feels real good. But the way you get to feeling real good, from working out to growing your hair to trying this natural journey, um, to doing your own makeup, whatever phase that we would call the uncomfortable phase or the ugly
Mhm.
phase, or this ain't the it stage, the one that can
Right.
make you it stage, you know, without really understanding that we're not looking at being successful. And I had a lady sit down with me, and I said, she said, well, I want to know, she said, do you work for anyone? I was like, no, and I'm kind of arrogant. I don't work for anyone. I work for myself. And so she says, well, how do you do that? And I'll tell you, she dressed like she stepped out of a magazine. I don't and do
Mhm.
not, never have. And I was like, okay, she looked like she can't afford to quit her job. That's what my mom was thinking.
Uh-huh.
And she wanted to know how, because everybody wanted to know, how are you making money with podcasting? Because they didn't see it. And everything they didn't see, I picked up. I found opportunities because I was like, they can't tell me no, because I don't technically exist. It's after I've gone to, cover President Obama or First Lady
Mhm.
Obama that they said, wait a minute, you did that with a podcast? Yes, I did.
Mhm.
And also standing in the right place at the right time,
The
you
right
know?
time. Yes, and that is so true because I've had that same, how did you capture this person? How did you capture that person? Like you said, the right place, the right time, and being ready. And then all of them too, they
You
know that,
ready.
all of these different platforms exist. And a lot of times they're looking for exposure as well. And the one thing I will say that I've learned over the years, and I think you're a testament to that as well, is we never know who's watching. All these people that are now jumping on, they probably have been watching you for the last 12 years, but
Mhm.
just have been kind of sitting silently. And now, you now their life has changed to now where their need meets what you have to offer, and it may not have
Mhm.
met that 12 years ago. So there may not have been that relevance, And I think I
I
saw a
think that
comment. Yeah, I was going to say, I think I saw a comment earlier that, success is not instant. And that is
yeah,
so true. Success
yeah.
is not instant. You have to be in it and do it because for the joy of it, because you enjoy doing it. Because if you're looking for the fame and the fortune and all that sort of thing, you're going to burn out real quickly.
Man, let me tell you, if that's what you're waiting on to be your reward, it will piss you
Hmm.
off. You'll be very, very, very happy sometimes and very, very, very angry sometimes.
Yeah,
And your
yeah,
emotions are all over the place.
all of it.
So back to that point, success isn't is instant. Me and my husband was talking about the young people, and I told him, I said, well, let's not just put it on the young people, because I
Hmm.
coach people who want to make money like as soon as I teach them the
Like
first
yesterday.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and technically you are making money. The first time you break the ground, make it, able to receive seeds and nurture it, you are making money. Because I can't say that even a person I cleaned house for 12 years ago, because I was cleaning houses before I started doing podcasting.
Mhm.
Throughout my podcast years, somebody did call me back, but when I let them know I don't clean houses no more, they didn't call me no more. But if they knew I still
Mhm.
clean houses, because I was like, years have gone by. Yeah, we just want to know, do you still clean houses? And I was like, actually, I don't anymore. But you're doing something that took years. And I think that's where my trust question came from. Because it takes years for someone, and it's not 12 condensed years, it's 12
Mhm.
interrupted years, 12 not focused on me years, 12
Right.
years of life happening all over the place and
And that's another
sporadically.
conversation.
So I was like, how do you get someone to close the gap from I'm meeting you to you doing business with me? Like I buy stuff and I download stuff constantly, but it's not because I just saw them today and I'm buying that thing today. I will, have to see how many times they pop up in my stream. Did Big Brother put them on, the internet? Will I see it in the feed? Will my friends say that they've seen it? I'm looking to trust you and I'm looking to see how many other people know you. Or I'm just deciding, do I like this person? And that would be a one-on-one I know you, touch you, I have your address, you have my address. Okay, I'll support you. But if it's somebody, a Les Brown, I love Les Brown, but I don't know Les Brown. It's gonna take a few of his commercials before I say I'm diving right in. Yes, I may have gone to the last conference, but I don't know, Les. You got anything new for me? So I do have my skepticism there. But for Paula, I can drive in my car to Paula's house. Yeah, Paula, what we doing? Sharing it right away, It's different. What makes a person determined to trust? So that's my big question for today. And podcasting, I think, is a way to, if I want to say fast track, which is a dirty word, like a shortcut. I want you to fast track your relationships. It's showing up in podcast form for people to be able to sample your personality over and over.
Right.
But still, it takes time.
Oh, it takes time. Yeah. I mean, and then when, like you said, when you start mixing, when you start putting the trust in the mix, it really does. It really does take time, and it can even like muddy the waters a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because and everyone within the sound of my voice, I know at some point, well, I shouldn't say I know because I don't know everyone, but I would imagine has had some experience, some not so
Mm-hmm.
pleasant experience with trust.
Mm-hmm.
So it varies, and I'm not of the mindset that it's a black and white thing. I
Mm-hmm.
believe you've got to kind of look and discern, for a while, observe for a while. And, sometimes we have to meet people where they are. And sometimes we have to realize that people are reacting or responding to us based on where they are in this particular season of their
Yeah.
life. That person that asked, well, do you still clean houses? That question may have been prompted by some pressure that they've gotten from somebody else because they were supposed to take care of this 6 months ago. And now they're
Mm-hmm.
being left with an ultimatum: either you find somebody to clean houses today, and they're just desperate. And they're not
Mm-hmm.
thinking of, what she's doing now or what she's doing before or how I can support
Mm-hmm.
her or what I can do so she can try. They're not thinking about any of that. It's, oh, I remember she cleaned. They're desperate. Oh, I remember she cleaned houses. Do you clean houses?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, where you been? But none of
Right.
that is in between their ears because their focus is, if I don't get somebody to clean this house, I'm done. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
This
So
is
I
gonna be a
think
bigger problem, right?
yeah, I think sometimes we have to look from the standpoint of the person is coming to the table with their particular agenda that
Yes.
may or may not have anything to do with me, if
Right.
that makes any sense at all.
It does.
You
And
know,
so our growth, the way growth looks, the way trust happens, those are things that they happen and something changed, but you didn't witness every single second of it.
E-
I have some
exactly.
trees right outside my balcony,
Hmm.
and I remember watching the leaves fall off that tree, and I remember the color coming back to the tree. I don't remember the leaves growing back, but I remember
Right.
color coming back to the
Color coming
tree.
back. Hmm.
Right. That's my perception of that tree's reality because every day I get up, the tree's doing something different, and I'm noticing the change, but I don't see when the change happened. And it's
Yeah.
that subtle that our growth happens, that moment when you can say, okay, I can teach,
Hmm.
or I can lead, or I can step out on this faith. And we're
Yeah.
not waiting for it to be completely,
Hmm.
predictable,
Right.
but
Right.
you gotta know that you've prepared something. Like, what I shouldn't do is go past the treadmill exercises in the gym. I've been sitting down for a year.
Right.
So for me to go to the gym and be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do it all. I'm gonna
Hmm.
walk, I'm gonna do the bike." No, 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 I'm not. No, I'm not.
It's one thing at a time, one step at a
It's
time.
got to be. Yeah, and you'll
Hmm.
feel it. A long nap will come upon you because you worn your body out right away. But you have to be prepared for that. Had I been doing exercises in the house, I may be ready to do 2 different machines at the gym,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared, the mindset, because you would take it personal. You would take it personal
Yes.
in business
Exactly.
if no one's coming to your podcast to be
Mhm.
interviewed, you'll wonder what's wrong with you. And it could
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
that everyone that you've interviewed they're now working on the next project, but you don't know when they're going to be through. So they may take another 2 or 3 years to get back to
Mhm.
you to need an interview.
Mhm.
So what else?
Right.
Who else can you interview? How do you go about finding your people?
Right.
And then you think, oh
Right.
man, this is a lot of work, but it's not. It's
Mhm.
creating your cycles and
Yeah.
keeping yourself relevant. And this is speaking more of making podcasting your business. Because if you
Mhm.
use it just to advertise, if Paula just used it just to advertise her voiceover business
Mhm.
and her fitness business, then she wouldn't have had to have guests. That wouldn't have been pressure she needed. She
Right.
wouldn't have had to do anything other than get up every day and talk to her
Mhm.
people, her
Mhm.
tribe, do
Mhm.
her exercises, and say, check out this new voiceover work I did, especially if something, is going to be in Georgia and she was, a part of the team. We're
Right.
going to tune into it or check out this
Mhm.
movie, or I get to go to this movie screen, and everything about Paula's life can be a show, but
Yeah.
Paula doesn't have to do an extra business,
Right,
you know?
exactly, exactly. And I think too, the other thing too, if I may, that we have to, because I always talk, me from the beginning, I've talked about that conversation in between your ears.
Mhm.
We have to be careful not to internalize everything,
Yeah.
because like you said, if we don't have guests coming, what's the problem with it? It's what's wrong with me? You don't see people responding or hear people responding. What's wrong with me? What's the problem? We cannot assume that people are not paying attention, or people are not responding. But just
Mhm.
because they're not responding, it doesn't mean that they're not paying attention. If I
Right.
could leave the audience with anything in regard to this, every time that you wake up, every morning that you wake up to do whatever it is that you've been called to do or that you're doing, do it with excellence, because you never ever know who is silently watching. There have been interviews that I have obtained that people are like, how the you can plug in a word because there have been a variety of them. Did you get that? And you've only been in podcasting a year or 2 years, or what have you. And what I learned from those experiences, because I then went and asked the question, and the response was, because we have been watching you. Who knew?
No, right. No
Who
one.
knew? Who knew? I'm like, oh my God, NBC was watching me. So that's how I was able to get an interview with
Wow.
Sandy Red, chair turn from NBC's The Voice. That's how I was.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You
Wow,
never
yeah.
know who is watching. So always do everything that you do with excellence, because in due
Yes.
season, again, we're not, well, yeah, maybe I am. In due season, you will reap, but you've got to stay steadfast and
Yes.
persistent.
You
Mhm.
can't reap nothing if you hadn't broke the
If you have
ground, planted
right,
seeds, you
and you
you
gotta
know,
do the
you
work,
gotta put in the effort.
Yeah, you gotta
Right.
put in the effort, you gotta do the work. I think they've said, when I've some of the business, literature I've read, they've said, it takes, the first 5 years or so of your business, you're working, you're grinding, and, you may not turn over a profit,
Mhm.
or it may be longer, especially when you're at year 5 and you think, "Okay, well, they said the first 5 years, and now it's year 6, and year 6 is a pandemic." You
Right?
know?
What is that?
Right
Yes.
here, year 6 is a
Yeah.
pandemic. So, you know,
Yeah.
and then like you said, you're coexisting with life and things, that there are a lot of things
Yeah.
that I certainly could have done for my business this year. And at first I was kicking myself, man, if I had done this, because we're all sheltered in place and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
But just coexisting with everything that was going on in the world, just the having to process everything that was going on, not only in our local environment, but nationally, internationally, our own families and things of that nature. There's some mornings you
Mhm.
wake up and it's just like, I'm just gonna pull the covers over my head.
Yes, there are those days.
Yes, yes. So, there are a lot of life distractions that have happen that, can derail us. So, I always encourage people to not beat yourself up. If the woulda, shoulda, couldas, there's nothing you
Oh,
can do with
yes.
the woulda, shoulda, couldas. You're here today. What can you do moving forward? What can you do with the day that you have?
I want to ask you one final question for our
Mm-hmm.
time today, and it's business in general. What I'm
Mm-hmm.
intending to do is come back every few weeks and do a different version of Expand Your Brand. We can expand your brand through Facebook, LinkedIn, and just different platforms, and that's the goal to show you how to expand your brand to really get the most out of the tools we use, right? So in general, in business, you want to stay the course and you want to have a consistency in your delivery. So what's your advice for people in business, knowing what you know in this moment from your
Mm-hmm.
experience? I know you don't know everybody else's experience, but from Paula G.
Mm-hmm.
Voice's experience, what can
Yes.
you leave the audience with when we think about business?
I would have to piggyback on what you just said, and that is being consistent in whatever it is that you do, even if you don't think anyone is paying attention. I have been putting a newsletter out for the last, and again, I think, Catherine, you were the one to help to kind of help me give birth to that putting a newsletter out. I've been doing that for the last maybe 4 or 5 years. It goes out every Wednesday morning, and it has gone out for the most part every Wednesday morning for the last 5 years or so. I often get feedback from people who often make that observation, like, girl, you have this. If I can say anything about you, you're consistent. So being consistent in whatever it is that you do, because that's how you grow your audience. Your audience is going to expect, if you have a podcast like mine was
Yeah.
Wednesday evenings at 8:30, you need to be consistent. I don't care if you think the only person that's watching is your mama. You have got to be consistent, because you never know, come 8:30 Wednesday evenings, unless the sky is falling and the sun is rising in the west, you need to be on. If you can't be on live, then post a playback or something. But you've
Mhm.
got to be consistent, because the other thing too, is that I'm beginning to notice, is those who are looking to sponsor are looking for consistency, they're looking for clarity.
Mhm.
And when I say consistency, consistency in your brand as well, a
Yeah.
consistency across the board, your social media, whatever it is that you're putting out. You're not on Facebook and hey, I'm the business person, but you're on Instagram and you're pole dancing or something. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Doing it
Consistency.
just don't match, right?
Yes, across the board, and even on your personal profiles too. Someone told me years ago, when you step outside, well, actually, I was a military spouse, and my husband was kind of going up in the ranks, and he said to me, or there was another senior officer's wife, and she said to me, she said, when you step outside your quarters, you are representing your spouse. You are representing
Mhm.
your spouse. So if you're going to the PX or the commissary with, sweats on and a rag on your head, and, the kids looking like a hot mess, you are representing your spouse. And that I have carried through life. When you step outside your door, when you get on social media, you are representing your brand, and you want that to be consistent.
Mhm.
So that was kind of a long answer. So that's what I would leave with the audience, is consistency.
No matter how you feel, no
It
matter
doesn't
what's
matter.
going on in life. I remember one
Yes.
time do you remember it was an email that I sent out. It was like the coaching agreement, and you said, "Man, that's pretty harsh." Do you
Yeah.
remember what that was about?
I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
Well, what it was about was the point of that communication is I was trying to get you all to take coaching seriously, and it was like, I
Okay.
don't care if someone died, I don't care if somebody got sick, like you
Uh-huh.
still have to keep going. And you was like, that's pretty harsh, Cat. You want to find another way to say that? And I was like, I kind of don't.
Well, okay. So going back to going back, since you brought that up, going back to the no nonsense,
Uh-huh.
going back to
Uh-oh.
Kat and her no about you, business. And I think I know because we got to meet people where they are, and we have to know what works for us and what doesn't work. And you were making a point about, if you're going to have a podcast. There have been days I have been sick. There have been days where you're right, and I will say there have been days where I got news that someone passed away
Yep.
earlier that day, and my first thought was, I can't do this show. I just
Yep.
can't. But then I had to think, one, and I don't mean any disrespect, but one,
Mhm.
the person is gone. I'm here. I can't get up there in 24 hours anyway.
Right.
It's going to take me a few days. So if I'm not on air, all I'm going to do is probably sit there and boohoo or what have you, which I'm going to have
Right.
plenty time to do that, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna go on air. I'm going to do my show. Depending on my relationship with my audience or my brand, I may or may not share. And I think there were
Right.
instances where I did. Y'all, thank you for, tuning into the Paula G show this evening. If I'm sounding a little so and so, it's because, I got some bad news earlier, but, we're going to press forward. And, we've got a great guest today. And, y'all forgive me if I stumble over my words. We're going to go to commercial. We'll be back in a
Does that
moment.
even feel good while you're saying it right now? Because that says
Yeah,
I have a relationship with these people. My
yeah.
mama, or whoever it is that's tuning into my show, I got a
Hmm. Hmm.
relationship. And if your mama tuning in, she might need that distraction too. If y'all,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? So, and it's
exactly.
not just a distraction, but it's definitely a fire drill in life because life just happened.
Life
And
happens.
you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to be away for a few days. So is this going to be a few days that's going to run into even next week's show? Can I schedule this? How do I keep giving people what they come to me for? Or is it
Hmm.
acceptable for me because I have a relationship with my audience? Is it
Hmm.
acceptable for me to tell them I'll be gone for 3 weeks? 3 weeks can break that rhythm with anything. They'll come back, but it may not be in 3 weeks when you come back because they're out of
Right,
habit now. And it don't
right.
take but one Sunday out of church for you to,
Uh-huh.
backslide. So
Right.
it don't take that long. So
And
you want
that's
to keep connected.
Yeah, and that is so true. And you speak to that. Before the pandemic, I was flying over to the UK a couple of times a year because I have family in the UK. And the first year, I think I did because I was gone for a month, and I did record maybe two recorded shows. But after that, I started doing them live, and the audience really appreciated it because I was up at 1:30 in the morning, and
Wow.
you develop a rapport with the audience. I said,
Mhm.
I must really love y'all because I'm up at 1:30 in the morning. I've been playing with the grandbabies all day. This is the only time anybody in the house gets to sleep, but I'm
Yeah,
up live broadcasting with you. Y'all better appreciate me.
right,
But the
right.
audience appreciates and the
Mhm.
feedback, that you get. And I think when you develop that relationship with the audience, it won't matter how you feel when you get on
Mhm.
air and you're honest about it. Now, you don't want to go on 20 minutes about it. Maybe a
Yeah,
minute or
yeah.
two, let them know, okay, this, hey, we're here today. I'm kind of dealing with this. Just, is anybody out there dealing with the same thing? And sometimes you get feedback from people.
Yeah.
You get that support from people. But the bottom line, at the end of the day, consistency matters because, like you said, you
Mhm.
will lose them into it. They love you, but
They can find somebody else to love.
yeah, and you might be their therapy. You might be their therapy. Like, oh God, I'm looking forward to Catherine's show tonight. I've had such a
Mhm.
rough day, and then you get to the evening and she ain't there. Oh, now
For no
she's become
reason.
now,
For
yeah,
no
and now
good
she's
reason to
yeah,
you, right?
right, exactly. So now she's become part of that not having a good day. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Because she's not there. So
right.
yeah, oh yeah, I can tell you a whole lot of
Yeah.
scenarios of
So from the
doing
first
shows.
time so from the first time you read that and you were asking me, "Don't you wanna reword that?" What do you think now?
um, sometimes I think, oh, you asked that question. Uh, I would still ask the question because, I mean, I can handle it. I can handle it. There are a lot
Mhm.
of people that can handle it. But when we're looking at, it's kind of like when I was a counselor.
Mhm.
There were certain students that would come in my office, and can I ask you a question? I could look at them, get out, and they would go and oh man, Miss Paul, oh man, come on, get out. There are other students I couldn't do that because they would burst into tears and go home and tell the mama that the counselor was mean to me. You know? So I had to meet each child where they were, and based on our relationship and their understanding
Mhm.
of who I was. There was like my students knew, don't come to me unless I've had my coffee. Now, for
Ah,
some students, that scared them, right? They were like, oh, they're calling them their parents, and oh, I
oh
can't. My
Lord.
you know. But then there were others who had the wherewithal to go by the coffee shop. I mean, I'd see an arm sticking in the door, and it was just a cup of coffee. Like, can I come in?
I'm waving a flag,
Wait a
please.
minute. And we joked about it. I mean, it wasn't that serious. The kid could come see me if I didn't have coffee, but generally speaking, some of my kids were like, "Oh, you better not go see, Miss Paula, unless she's had a cup of coffee." They kind of started that somehow, and then it became
Ah,
this big thing. So my point being is, yeah, I would still say that because some people may not receive it in the
yeah,
same
they're gonna,
manner
and
that.
those people are gonna get slammed by the business world. Yeah. So so we're good. We're still at the same odds.
Yeah.
You're
Oh
still
yeah, we
asking me
are.
for it, but you've experienced that life happens though, right?
Yeah, it does. It
It does
does.
happen, and you got a
Mhm.
decision to make. And
Yes.
something had at some point you got to think, even if no one shows up, what if someone shows up and I'm not there?
Yes.
What if I'm what makes someone's day? Because that's what you're
Yes.
working for, right? Your
Yes.
whole point
Yes.
is to become that program. I got to tune into the Paula program. I got to turn watch the program tonight.
Yeah.
Paula gonna be on. That's what
Yes.
you're working for. So you don't
Uh-huh.
want to not be there, and you can be there.
You've got to be
So
there.
I might work on. I'm still gonna say the same thing, but I'm gonna find a another way to say it because I want them to get the seriousness of you mean something to someone. Yes, you're upset that someone that means something to you is no longer with us, but
Mhm.
that's how somebody feels about you. And by you pulling yourself away from them, you're hurting them like you're being hurt. This is not what's supposed to happen. And this is an opportunity for you to show what we
Mhm.
do when the heat is on. So by
Yeah.
preparing, because it was about the pre-recordings. No one wanted to do pre-recordings back
Right.
then. And
Right.
I
I
was
remember.
like, go ahead and pre-record. I don't want to do a pre-record. I want to do it live. I want to be, authentic with
Uh-huh.
okay, you can be authentically absent too. Because what
Right.
happens is that day that you gotta be gone, now you want me to
Mhm.
give you a crash test on how to record something or how to repurpose
Mhm.
something, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I
So
know they're gonna come.
I would say add the backstory, what you just said. Like add the back if you add the backstory of what you just said about, you will be making somebody else's day. I think you said something
Well,
to
you
that
just you
effect.
just gave that to me, so I'll use it because I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking about that before then.
Yeah. So if you
See,
if you could add the backstory, then you don't have to rephrase because you've added the backstory. But if you're just
thank
putting it
you,
out there
Paula.
without the backstory, then yeah, it sounds harsh.
Well, I mean, it is harsh. You know what's harsh? When you don't know why you don't have customers no more, and it's nothing about you, but we beat ourselves
Mhm.
up, right?
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
think that I must not be good anymore. And instead of continuing to be the good that you are and becoming
Right.
better, you
Mhm.
let the invisible supposed tos get you, and they say, yeah, they don't like you. Yeah, they don't want to work with you. And it's none of that, right?
It's
So
none of
I
that.
like that you gave me the illustration of people looking forward to you and you going to
Mhm.
visit with your grandchildren and you
Yeah.
still making time for the people who you make
Mhm.
their day. So I didn't get that by myself. Cause I
Mhm.
I grew up not getting allowance because you do what you're supposed to do. I ain't gotta pay you.
Mhm.
You let me live here. So I'm
And that's
I'm from
true
the
too.
right. Do what you're supposed
Uh-huh.
to do. If you're supposed to show up, show up. If you're not supposed to show
Sure.
up, don't show up.
Right. And I don't have to thank you for it or give you kudos
Right. But you will get a
for it because
punishment if you
that's
don't
what you're
do it
supposed to
right.
do in the first place.
Right, but you will get in trouble if you don't do what you're supposed to. Isn't that something? That's a hard way. Paula, thank you so much
Well,
for
it's the
being here
truth too.
today and
Too.
helping me wrap
Yeah, it
up.
is.
And I put your links to scroll across so people will see it in the replay. And I hope that
Yeah.
they
Oh, thank you.
definitely connect with you. I'm enjoying the shorts that you're doing, the quick videos that's giving the words of wisdom, and just keep going. Because
Yeah,
even if right now you don't have that $1 million idea that's going to come from the work we're doing right now, you better know it's coming. But if you don't do
yes,
nothing, you'll know it ain't coming for sure.
it ain't coming. Yeah. And let me just say to you that I appreciate you, and I appreciate your resolve and your resilience. Just being on this platform itself, I know is new, but you powered
Yeah.
through it and you made it happen. So you really are an example of your own brand as well, and powering through these things and continuing to thrive and to continue to grow. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for trusting me, as well. And, I'm looking forward to great things happening, for you as well.
Thank you so much. Well, until next time, everyone, y'all have a super day. And Paula will be back on for next week.
Okay.